Hello YouTube. It is October 1st. It's Sunday and I'm in my Sunday dress and got the baby monitor. I've got coffee. Let's go plant some seeds. Quick update with my garden. You know, the garden's been doing a lot better. I've removed a lot of the plants that were not doing so well. And I am seeing some new life in the plants that are remaining. Look at this squash plant. The squash plant is huge. And I've got quite a few squash looking like they're going to come up. So that's excellent. We are about to get a drop in temperatures to where it's going to be to the low 80s. And I cannot wait because I think our plants are going to do a lot better because of it. My parents dropped by and gave me some seedlings. And so I'm going to be transplanting those. And then I've got basically, we've moved from the cold tolerant plants to the frost hardy plants. When I'm transplanting seedlings, I like to give them a little bit of liquid plant food when I'm putting them in as like a welcome home gift. It just gives them a little boost of nutrients so that, you know, maybe they don't suffer quite as much when planting. So my mom brought these dill seedlings. There we go. She said they're gonna need to go in the ground right now. And I said, okay. You see how there are 3 little stems? So we could potentially get 3 dill plants if they all survive. If you could focus, if they all survive the transplant. Okay, let's just. You see, I'm kind of gently just nudging these guys apart. I don't want to rip the roots apart. Oh my god. Here we go. Welcome to your new home. You don't need that much. It's your tiny little sprouts. And then the other plant I've got is this mystery plant. She did not tell me what this is. Oh, I just smelled it. It's arugula. All right, here she goes. She's going in. Welcome to the neighborhood. Please don't die. So I use drip irrigation. So when I'm planting a transplant, I like to plant them right at, you can see here, there's a hole here. So that when the irrigation system goes off, this little plant will get water right at its root. What kind of lettuce is? I don't know. I'm trying to keep my my leafy green plants together. Are you? That might be a plant. I don't think that's a weed. I think that might be a plant that I planted. These are those stiffer containers that I was telling you about. My mom is the one who bought them and gave them to me. She gave me one of these. She probably thinks I'm going to give it back to her. I'm never giving it back. Last but not least, cucumbers. Again, we're really pushing it, planting cucumber seedlings, but I'm a sucker for disappointment, and I love cucumbers. That I'll risk it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So I'm just gonna put these cucumbers here. These are really nice, dense, moist. We have some nice, dense, moist soil. So I've got 2 cucumber plants in 1 container. They're buddies, but they will be buddies no longer. Oh, there's one right there. Sneaky little plant. I didn't see it. Okay, we're gonna move it down. I've got another cucumber plant over here. I'm gonna have so many cucumbers. I'm either gonna have so many cucumbers or I'm gonna have no cucumbers. Okay. I'm seeing here. Greetings and salutations, my friend. Oh my gosh, don't fall over. Oops. The child is awake. Pause. Okay, I'm back. He didn't wake up. Changed his mind? I don't know. So I feel like I have limited time to do this. This is my little notepad. When I'm doing recipe testing, this is where I put my notes. If I lost this notepad, I would be a mess. Okay, we're gonna plant more arugula. Yes. So I was interested in homesteading back in 2013. So 10 years ago, I was interested in homesteading. I was doing a lot of research on it, but I just never got into it. I never had any property. I didn't really know that you could homestead without having property. I didn't know that like homesteading was a state of mind. I didn't know anybody who homesteaded, and so I didn't really, like, I knew there were people, but I wasn't friends with them, you know? So I was really just doing a lot of research on my own, and so then I just kind of got into a typical job, got into a typical house, and then the pandemic happened, and like many people, I kind of got slapped in the face with my first instance of food insecurity, and I did not like that. This is where arugula is going to go. And like for somebody who's never really had to worry about like, will there be food at the grocery store? It was a really big wake-up call for me. I think I'm going to do the Johnny Selected Seeds Astro Arugula. And I'm just going to do 6 because, you know, yellow. I'll just grow a bunch of arugula that nobody else in my family will eat. So I started getting a garden going. And it was a terrible space. When I moved into our house, somebody had dug out a pit and had put an above ground pool. We took the pool out because I never really wanted a house with a pool. And we had this pit and we filled it in. But there was so much tree cover, like nothing would grow. The soil was terrible. Okay, arugula is happening. When we say bok choy, it means I'm gonna plant bok choy, but I'm also going to plant this hybrid mustard green and tatsoi and mizuna and gailon. So we're going to plant all these. So I love planting seeds. It's my favorite time of year. So that was my first garden. Was just like in this old pit where a pool used to be, and really not much grew. I didn't really get a good harvest. And I started learning about grow bags, and so then I started doing grow bags out on the patio. And then we moved to this house that had more of a yard, and so I started building this out. I'm gonna do 4 tatsoi plants because I like to do them as cut and come again. When you just start harvesting the leaves from the outer edges, that way you can continue growing leaves in the middle and you can just kind of harvest and harvest and harvest, as opposed to other leafy greens where really you just pull up the whole head. And so something like really magical happened. One night I was gonna make dinner and I went out into the garden and I harvested all the things that I needed for dinner. I mean, obviously, like, except for the meat, obviously. But I mean, all of the produce, all of the vegetables. And it felt so good. It was like life-changing good to be able to go out and harvest my dinner. That it kind of became an addiction. It kind of became a problem. I moved from planting in grow bag to we got this raised bed. I started learning about canning and preserving. And I realized like there are people out there that are living this life. Like they live this life. They live off the land. They have the animals, they have the plants. And like that's just their lives. And so kind of what I've been doing is really kind of cultivating that dream. Now that's a hard dream, right? It's a big investment. I'm gonna have to get more acreage than this. Can't do it here. We have a really strict HOA. Can't have chickens. Kailana's done. And I'm gonna spend this time learning as much as I can about these skills so that when I actually do get the acreage, which thoroughly plan on that, I actually know what I'm doing, sort of, and I don't completely like freak myself out. So I know a lot of people do it for environmental reasons. I know a lot of people do it for spiritual reasons. I do it because it's incredibly fulfilling. We're doing mustard greens. I have a couple growing out there, so I would like to have more so I can harvest them and preserve them. So now we're moving to spinach. I love spinach and my family loves spinach, so we're gonna do a lot. These are called giant noble spinach. They're interesting. Apparently they just do like, the photo is like, that's a quarter. That's a whole quarter. They're huge, so, and I love a big leaf of spinach. Gonna label my spinach. 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 All that's left is Swiss chard. 5-color silver beet, my favorite Swiss chard. I love the different colors. It's purely for aesthetic reasons. Fun thing about Swiss chard, focus. I think I've said this before, but it is a compound seed. And so it's got a bunch of little seeds in this pod. So you never have to put more than one chard seed at a time. Same thing with beets. At that point, you're just wasting seeds. So I'm I think I'm gonna do 8 chard plants. I think we're just gonna live a little. This is me being wild and crazy. The hard part about this is that then I gotta figure out where they're gonna go in the garden once they're ready. Okay, these are ready. This is the longest video of my life. I'm gonna get them on trays and then we'll water them and then I'll be done. My patio faces the south. No. What are you thinking? My patio faces the west. And so when the sun comes up, they get really nice morning sun. And then when it goes back behind the house, they get afternoon shade. So these guys aren't going to be too burnt out where they are. And they'll be well acclimated. Well, thank you so much for coming along with me as I rambled while I planted. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. And I hope that you get the fall weather that you're looking for. Have a good one.